What? As the Valiant's crew celebrated their hard-fought victory against the Kazan, the repercussions of their actions rippled across the galaxy. News of Earth's advanced technology spread like wildfire, igniting a firestorm of debate and speculation among the major galactic powers. In the grand chambers of the Galactic Council, representatives from the Thracians, Eridani, and Zephyrians engaged in heated discussions. The revelation of humanity's capabilities had shifted the balance of power, and each faction sought to protect their own interests in the face of this new threat. Amidst the cacophony of voices, a figure emerged from the shadows. Zara Dex, a renowned Zephyrian scientist, commanded the room with her presence. Her piercing gaze swept over the assembled delegates as she strode to the center of the chamber. "Esteemed members of the Council," Zara began, her voice calm yet authoritative, "we stand at a critical juncture in our history. The humans have shown their hand, and we must act swiftly to ensure the stability and security of our galaxy." She paused, allowing her words to sink in before continuing. "I propose a bold plan. We must infiltrate Earth, uncover the secrets behind their technology, and level the playing field. Only then can we hope to maintain the delicate balance of power that has kept our civilizations thriving for centuries." Murmurs of agreement and dissent rippled through the room. Some council members expressed reservations, citing the risks and potential consequences of such an operation. Others, swayed by Zara's charisma and reputation, nodded in support. In the end, the majority voted in favor of Zara's plan. With the council's backing, she wasted no time in assembling a team of the galaxy's most skilled operatives, each handpicked for their unique abilities and expertise. Light years away on Earth, the Vanguard's surveillance networks hummed with activity. Admiral Morales, the organization's leader, studied the data streaming across the holographic displays. Patterns emerged, whispers of a growing threat from beyond the stars. Morales summoned Commander Liam Axford to his office. The young strategist stood at attention, his sharp eyes taking in every detail of the room. "Commander," Morales began, his voice grave, "we have reason to believe that the Galactic Council is moving against us. They seek to uncover the secrets behind our technological advancements." Liam nodded, his mind already racing with possibilities. "What are your orders, sir?" "Assemble a team of our best operatives. Your mission is to identify and neutralize any attempts at espionage or sabotage. We cannot allow our secrets to fall into the wrong hands." As Liam set to work, he couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the beginning of a dangerous game. The Vanguard's advanced surveillance technology and network of informants would be crucial in staying ahead of the Galactic Council's efforts. But even as Liam and his team worked tirelessly to protect Earth's interests, whispers of a mole within the Vanguard began to circulate. Suspicions fell on Dr. Eliza Sorensen, a brilliant scientist working on a top-secret project known only as Genesis. Liam knew that uncovering the truth behind Dr. Sorensen's work and her potential ties to the Galactic Council would be a race against time. The fate of Earth and the balance of power in the galaxy hung in the balance, and failure was not an option. As Liam pored over the data recovered from NovaCorp's servers, a grim realization settled in his gut. The extent of the corporation's betrayal ran deeper than he had initially suspected. Encrypted communications revealed a network of moles within key government agencies and military installations, all working to undermine Earth's defenses from within. Dr. Sorensen's fingers flew across the holographic interface, her brow furrowed in concentration. "The Genesis technology is our best hope of countering NovaCorp's sabotage," she explained, her voice tight with urgency. "If we can stabilize the terraforming process and protect the affected colonies, we can buy ourselves some time to root out the traitors and shore up our defenses." Liam nodded, his mind racing with possibilities. "We'll need to move fast," he said, his gaze fixed on the star-studded expanse visible through the observation deck's viewport. "Kincaid won't stay hidden for long, and the Galactic Council will be quick to capitalize on any weakness they perceive." As the Vanguard mobilized its forces, dispatching teams to secure vulnerable colonies and investigate suspected NovaCorp operatives, Liam found himself at the center of a maelstrom of activity. Late-night strategy sessions blurred into early morning briefings, the constant thrum of urgency a palpable presence in the air. Yet even as they worked tirelessly to contain the damage, new threats emerged with alarming frequency. Sabotage terraforming equipment, mysterious disappearances, and increasingly brazen attacks by Novacorp's mercenary forces kept the vanguard on the defensive, always one step behind their enemies. In the midst of the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerged. Dr. Sorensen's team had made a breakthrough with the Genesis technology, developing a countermeasure that could reverse the effects of Novacorp's sabotage and stabilize the terraforming process on affected planets. But the victory was short-lived. As Liam and his team raced to deploy the countermeasure on a critically destabilized colony, they found themselves walking into a trap. Novacorp forces, led by a vengeful Marcus Kincaid, ambushed them, unleashing a devastating barrage of advanced weaponry that cut through the Vanguard's defenses without difficulty. In the ensuing firefight, Liam watched in horror as his teammates fell one by one, their blood staining the alien soil beneath his feet. He fought with a savage fury, his training and instincts taking over as he sought to protect Dr. Sorensen and the precious Genesis technology. But even as he battled against the overwhelming odds, Liam knew that this was only the beginning. Kincaid's trap had been a message, a declaration of war against the Vanguard, and all that it stood for. The true battle for Earth's future and the fate of the galactic realm itself was only just beginning. As the smoke cleared and the echoes of gunfire faded into the stillness of the alien landscape, Liam stood tall, his eyes fixed on the horizon. The road ahead would be long and treacherous, fraught with danger and uncertainty at every turn. But he knew that he and the Vanguard would never stop fighting, never stop searching for a way to secure humanity's place among the stars, regardless of the cost. The Valiant's engines thrummed with power as it led a fleet of Vanguard ships through the inky void of space. Captain Elena Reyes stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing their destination. Outpost Sigma-7, a vital terraforming hub on the edge of Earth-controlled space. "All ships, maintain formation," she ordered, her voice steady despite the tension in her shoulders. "We're entering a potential hot zone." As the fleet approached the outpost, alarms blared across the Valiant's bridge. Lieutenant Zhang's fingers flew across his console. "Captain, multiple unidentified vessels dropping out of FTL. They're on an intercept course." Reyes's eyes narrowed. "Shields up, weapons hot, hail them." The view screen flickered to life, revealing a sleek, predatory ship of unfamiliar design. A figure stepped into view, humanoid but with iridescent scales covering its face and neck. "This is Archon Melisara of the Zinari Supremacy," the alien declared, her voice cold and imperious. "You are trespassing in our space. Withdraw immediately or face annihilation." Reyes stood her ground. "This outpost is under Earth's protection. We will not abandon our allies." Melisara's lips curled into a sneer. "Then you leave us no choice." The transmission cut off and chaos erupted. Zinari ships swarmed the Vanguard fleet, their weapons tearing through shields with terrifying efficiency. "Evasive maneuvers," Reyes shouted. "Target their lead ship and fire at will." The space around Outpost Sigma-7 lit up with the fury of battle. Vanguard ships fought valiantly, but the Zinari's advanced technology gave them a clear advantage. Meanwhile, on the outpost itself, Liam Axford and his team raced through corridors filled with panicked colonists. They had mere minutes to secure the Genesis prototype before the Zinari breached their defenses. "Dr. Sorensen, status report," Liam barked into his comm as he led his squad towards the research lab. "The prototype is secured, but we're cut off from the evacuation shuttles." Eliza's voice crackled through the static. "We need an alternate extraction point." Liam's mind raced. "Understood. We're coming to you. Hold your position and—" His words were cut short as an explosion rocked the outpost. Alarms blared, and emergency force fields snapped into place, sealing off entire sections. "Damn it!" Liam hit his fist against a sealed bulkhead. "Team, we need to find another way around. Move!" As they navigated the labyrinthine corridors of the outpost, Liam's comm crackled to life once more. It was Admiral Morales. "Axford, listen carefully." The Admiral's voice was grim. We've uncovered evidence linking NovaCorp to the Zynari supremacy. Marcus Kincaid has been feeding them classified data on our terraforming tech. This attack is just the beginning. Liam's blood ran cold. Understood, sir. What are our orders? Protect the Genesis prototype at all costs, Morales replied. And if possible, capture one of the Zynari leaders. We need solid proof to present to the Galactic Council before Melisera can manipulate them into declaring war on Earth. The comm went silent, leaving Liam with the weight of their mission pressing down on him. He turned to his team, their faces set with persistence despite the chaos around them. You heard the Admiral, he said, checking his weapon. Let's move out. As they pressed on, the sounds of battle grew louder. The Zynari had breached the outpost's outer defenses and were pushing towards the central labs. Liam and his team would have to fight their way through to reach Dr. Sorensen and the Genesis prototype. In orbit above, the Valiant took a direct hit to its engines. Captain Reyes gripped her chair as the ship shuddered violently. Damage report, she demanded. Lieutenant Zhang's voice was strained. Main engines are offline. We're operating on auxiliary power. Our shields are barely holding. Reyes surveyed the battlefield, her mind racing. The Vanguard fleet was outgunned and outnumbered, but they couldn't abandon the outpost or the people on it. All hands, prepare for emergency maneuvers, she ordered. We're going to buy Axford and his team the time they need, whatever it takes. As the Valiant limped into position to cover the outpost, Liam and his squad finally reached the research lab. They found Dr. Sorensen and her team barricaded inside, the precious Genesis prototype secured in a reinforced case. We need to move now, Liam shouted over the sound of distant explosions. The Zynari are right behind us. As if on cue, the far wall of the lab exploded inward. Through the smoke and debris stepped a towering Zynari warrior, his scales gleaming in the emergency lighting. Surrender the Genesis technology, the alien demanded, leveling a fearsome energy weapon at the group. Or this ends now. Liam raised his own weapon, his team falling into defensive positions around Dr. Sorensen and the prototype. The air crackled with tension as both sides faced off, neither willing to back down. In that moment, with the fate of Earth and its allies hanging in the balance, Liam knew that their next move would determine the course of the entire galaxy. Liam knew that their next move would determine the course of the entire conflict. He locked eyes with the Zynari warrior, his finger tightening on the trigger. Stand down, Liam commanded, his voice steady. We don't want unnecessary bloodshed. The Zynari warrior's grip on his weapon wavered, uncertainty flashing across his alien features. In that moment of hesitation, Liam's team struck. A concussive blast from a modified stun grenade filled the room, disorienting the Zynari and giving the Vanguard operatives the opening they needed. Liam lunged forward, tackling the warrior to the ground. They grappled fiercely, the Zynari's superior strength nearly overwhelming him. But Liam's training kicked in, and he managed to lock the alien in a chokehold. Dr. Sorensen, go! He shouted. Get the prototype to the extraction point. As Eliza and her team rushed from the lab with the Genesis device, Liam's squad engaged the remaining Zynari forces. The air crackled with energy weapon fire, the acrid smell of ozone filling the corridor. Liam secured the unconscious Zynari warrior and tapped his comm. Valiant, this is Axford. We have the package and a high-value prisoner, requesting immediate extraction. Captain Reyes's voice came through, strained but determined. Copy that, Axford. We're inbound to your position. ETA 3 minutes. The squad fought their way through the outpost's winding corridors, Liam carrying the unconscious Zynari over his shoulder. They reached the hangar bay just as the Valiant shuttle touched down, its engines roaring in the cavernous space. As they boarded, Liam caught sight of the battle raging outside. The Vanguard fleet was taking a beating, but they held their ground, protecting the outpost and its vital technology. Once safely aboard the Valiant, Liam rushed to the bridge. Captain Reyes stood at the helm, her face grim as she surveyed the tactical display. Status report, Liam demanded. Reyes shook her head. It's not good. We're outnumbered and outgunned. The Zynari have... Her words were cut short as a new alert blared across the bridge. Lieutenant Zhang's eyes widened as he studied his console. Captain, multiple ships dropping out of FTL. It's the Vanguard's primary battle group. True to Zhang's words, a massive fleet of Earth's most advanced warships materialized around the embattled outpost. At their center was the indomitable Admiral Morales' flagship. The comm crackled to life, and Morales' stern voice filled the bridge. This is Admiral Morales to all Vanguard forces. Engage the enemy and push them back. We will not yield this ground. With renewed vigor, the Vanguard fleet surged forward. The tide of battle began to turn as Earth's reinforcements hammered the Zenari ships with devastating firepower. Amidst the chaos, Liam received an urgent transmission from Admiral Morales. Axford, get to my ship immediately. We have new intel that changes everything. Moments later, Liam found himself aboard the Indomitable, face to face with the Admiral. Morales' expression was grave as he activated a holographic display. We've traced the source of the Zinari's intelligence, Morales explained. It leads back to Archon Melisera's flagship, the Dominus. She's been coordinating this entire operation from there. Liam's mind raced with the implications. Sir, if we could strike at the Dominus? Morales nodded. Exactly. We have a narrow window of opportunity while the Zinari are focused on this battle. I'm assembling a strike team to infiltrate the Dominus and capture Melisera. You'll lead the operation. As Liam absorbed the weight of this new mission, alarms blared across the Indomitable. Lieutenant Zhang's voice came through on the comms. Admiral, we're detecting a massive energy spike from the Zinari fleet. They're retreating. Morales' eyes narrowed. They're regrouping, preparing for a counterattack. We don't have much time. Liam straightened, his purpose hardening. I understand, sir. When do we move on the Dominus? Immediately, Morales replied. Get your team ready. You depart in 10 minutes. As Liam turned to leave, Morales called out one last time. Axford, be prepared for anything. Our intel suggests there may be more players in this game than we initially thought. With a nod, Liam headed to the hangar bay, his mind already formulating strategies for the perilous mission ahead. The fate of Earth and its place in the galaxy now rested on his shoulders, and he would not fail. Liam's heart raced as he led his team through the dimly lit corridors of the Dominus. The ship's alien architecture seemed to shift and writhe, disorienting the Vanguard operatives as they pushed deeper into enemy territory. Stay alert, Liam whispered, his rifle scanning for threats. We're approaching the command center. As they rounded a corner, a blinding flash of energy erupted before them. When the light faded, they found themselves face to face with a being unlike anything they had ever encountered. The entity before them shimmered with an otherworldly aura, its form constantly shifting between solid matter and pure energy. It spoke, its voice resonating directly in their minds. Humans of the Vanguard, the being intoned, I am Sentinel Prime of the Voidstalkers. Your reckless expansion ends now. Liam's team raised their weapons, but he held up a hand. Wait, he ordered, studying the alien entity. What do you mean by Voidstalkers? The Sentinel's form pulsed with light. We are the true masters of the technology you wield so clumsily. Your species was never meant to harness such power. Before Liam could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Lieutenant Zhang's voice crackled over the comm. Captain Axford, multiple unidentified vessels have appeared out of nowhere. They're massive. The Sentinel's form flickered. The Praetorians have arrived. Your time grows short, humans. With a gesture, the being teleported Liam and his team back to the Valiant's bridge. They materialized just as the view screen filled with the awe-inspiring sight of the Voidstalker fleet. Captain Reyes spun to face them, her eyes wide. Axford, what the hell is going on? As Liam opened his mouth to explain, a new transmission cut across all channels. A stern, ancient voice filled the bridge. Attention, primitive species. We are the Praetorians of the Voidstalker Imperium. Your unauthorized use of our technology has drawn our attention. Surrender all Voidstalker-derived systems immediately or face eradication. The bridge fell silent as the weight of the ultimatum settled over them. Admiral Morales' hologram flickered to life, his face grim. All Vanguard ships, this is Admiral Morales. Prepare for potential hostile engagement. Axford, report to the Indomitable immediately. We need to formulate a response. As Liam rushed to the shuttle bay, alarms blared once more. Lieutenant Zhang's voice rang out, panic evident in his tone. Multiple contacts dropping out of FTL. It's the Zenari. They're engaging both our fleet and the Voidstalkers. Through the hangar force field, Liam caught a glimpse of the chaos unfolding in space. Zenari ships, now bearing unfamiliar modifications, swarmed between the Vanguard and Voidstalker fleets, weapons blazing with stolen technology. As his shuttle rocketed towards the Indomitable, Liam's mind raced. The galaxy teetered on the brink of all-out war, with humanity caught in the crossfire between godlike aliens and opportunistic marauders. Their next move would determine the fate of not just Earth, but all sentient life in the cosmos. The shuttle docked with the Indomitable, and Liam sprinted to the war room. Admiral Morales stood before a holographic display of the unfolding battle, his face etched with concern. "Axford," Morales said as Liam entered, "we're facing a threat beyond anything we've ever encountered. What did you learn on the Dominus?" Liam took a deep breath, preparing to share the shocking revelations about humanity's true history and the source of their advanced technology. The fate of humanity and all alien species now rested on how they would navigate this crisis. Liam's mind raced as he processed the implications of what he'd learned on the Dominus. He turned to Admiral Morales, his voice tight with urgency. "Sir, the Voidstalkers claim our technology is derived from their own. They're demanding we surrender it immediately." Morales' eyes narrowed. "And if we refuse?" "They threatened eradication." Before Morales could respond, the holographic display flickered, revealing a new figure. The being's form shimmered with an otherworldly energy, its features constantly shifting. "I am Vizier Azran of the Voidstalker Praetorians," the entity announced, its voice resonating through the war room. "We demand an immediate cessation of hostilities and negotiation." Morales exchanged a glance with Liam, then nodded. "We're willing to talk, Vizier. What are your terms?" As Azran outlined the Praetorians' demands, Liam's attention was drawn to a flashing alert on a nearby console. Lieutenant Zhang's voice crackled through the comm. "Sir, we're detecting multiple Zenari vessels on an intercept course." Morales cursed under his breath. "Vizier, we need to postpone this discussion. We're under attack." Azran's form pulsed with irritation. "Your petty conflicts are irrelevant. You will—" The hologram disappeared as the Indomitable shuddered under a barrage of enemy fire. Alarms blared throughout the ship as Morales barked orders to return fire. Amidst the chaos, Liam received an urgent transmission from the Valiant. Captain Reyes's face appeared on his personal comm device, her expression grim. "Axford, we've lost contact with Dr. Sorensen's team. We believe Archon Melisera's forces have taken her." Liam's blood ran cold. "Understood, I'm on my way." As he sprinted towards the hangar bay, the ship rocked with another impact. Through the viewports, he caught glimpses of the battle raging outside. Vanguard ships clashed with Zenari vessels, while the massive Voidstalker fleet loomed ominously in the distance. Boarding his shuttle, Liam and his team blasted off towards Melisera's flagship. The space between vessels was a maelstrom of energy weapons and explosions. Liam gritted his teeth as he piloted the craft through the chaos, narrowly avoiding debris and stray fire. They docked with Melisera's ship, breaching the hull with practiced efficiency. Liam led his squad through the twisting corridors, dispatching Zenari guards with precise bursts from their rifles. As they neared the ship's command center, a familiar voice echoed through the halls. "I wouldn't take another step if I were you, Axford." Archon Melisera emerged from the shadows, her cybernetic enhancements glinting in the dim light. Behind her, two Zenari warriors held Dr. Sorensen at gunpoint. Liam raised his weapon. "It's over, Melisera. Release Dr. Sorensen now." The Archon's lips curled into a cruel smile. "I think not. The good doctor and I were just discussing the finer points of Voidstalker technology. It seems the Genesis device is more valuable than any of us realized." Before Liam could respond, the ship lurched violently. A deafening explosion rocked the corridor as a Praetorian energy beam tore through the hull. In the confusion, Liam's team sprang into action. They subdued the Zynari guards as Liam tackled Melisara to the ground. Dr. Sorensen broke free, rushing to Liam's side. "We need to get out of here," she shouted over the sound of tearing metal and failing life support systems. Liam hauled Melisara to her feet, keeping his weapon trained on her. "You're coming with us, Archon. We're not done yet." As they fought their way back to the shuttle, Liam's comm crackled to life. Admiral Morales' voice cut through the static. "Axford, do you have Sorensen?" "Affirmative, sir. We also have Archon Melisara in custody." There was a pause before Morales spoke again. "Good work, but we've got bigger problems. The Praetorians are pushing for full-scale engagement. We need a game-changer, and we need it now." Liam glanced at Dr. Sorensen, an idea forming in his mind. "Sir, what about the Genesis device? If we can activate it—" "Do it," Morales interrupted. "We're out of options. Get to the surface and initiate the terraforming sequence. It's our only chance to level the playing field." As their shuttle rocketed towards the planet below, Liam watched the battle unfold through the view screen. Vanguard and Zynari ships alike crumbled under the Praetorians' onslaught. Time was running out. They touched down on the barren world, the air thin and unbreathable. Dr. Sorensen worked feverishly to set up the Genesis device as Liam and his team established a perimeter. "How long?" Liam asked, his eyes scanning the sky for incoming threats. Sorensen's fingers flew over the device's controls. 2 minutes to full activation. "But Liam, there's something you should know. The Void Stalkers, they—" Her words were cut short as a blinding light engulfed them. The Genesis device hummed to life, its energy pulsing outward in concentric waves. The very fabric of reality seemed to ripple and distort. As the light faded, Liam gasped. The dead world around them had transformed. Lush vegetation sprouted from the once barren soil, and the air grew thick with oxygen. In the distance, mountains rose where there had been only flat terrain moments before. But there was no time to marvel at the transformation. The sky above them filled with descending ships, Vanguard, Zynari, and Praetorian alike. The Genesis device had leveled the playing field, but the battle for control of this new world, and the future of the galaxy, was not nearly finished. Liam readied his weapon, Dr. Sorensen and the captured Melisar at his side. Whatever came next, he knew that the choices they made in the coming hours would reshape the course of history for all species in the cosmos. The newly terraformed planet pulsed with life, its pristine landscape a stark contrast to the chaos unfolding above. Liam Axford's grip tightened on his weapon as ships from all factions descended through the atmosphere, their engines roaring. "We need to move," Liam ordered, scanning the horizon. "Dr. Sorensen, secure that Genesis device. We can't let it fall into enemy hands." As they retreated from the landing zone, Archon Melisara's cybernetic eye whirred, analyzing their surroundings. "Your technology is impressive, Axford, but you have no idea of its true potential." Before Liam could respond, a barrage of energy bolts rained down around them. Zynari ships streaked overhead, pursued by Praetorian vessels that dwarfed them in size. "Cover!" Liam shouted, diving behind a newly formed rock formation. His team scrambled for shelter, Dr. Sorensen clutching the Genesis device to her chest. As the dust settled, Liam was surprised to see Melisara crouch beside him, her cybernetic arm reconfiguring into a weapon. "It seems we have a common enemy," she hissed. Liam's comm crackled to life. "Axford, this is Admiral Morales. We're detecting multiple Praetorian dropships on approach to your position. Hold out as long as you can. Reinforcements are inbound." "Understood, sir," Liam replied, his mind racing. He turned to Melisara. "We need to work together if we want to survive this." The Archon's lips curled into a sneer, but she nodded. "For now." As if on cue, a group of Zynari warriors emerged from the tree line, their weapons trained on the Praetorian ships above. Their leader, a battle-scarred veteran, locked eyes with Liam. "Human," he growled, "we fight together or die alone." With a nod, Liam sealed the unlikely alliance. "Spread out and prepare for incoming," he ordered, gesturing to the combined human, Zynari, and Melisara's loyalists. The air crackled with energy as Praetorian dropships touched down, disgorging waves of towering armored warriors. Liam's makeshift force opened fire, their disparate weapons finding common purpose against the overwhelming threat. As the battle raged, Liam caught sight of Dr. Sorensen working furiously on the Genesis device. "What are you doing?" he shouted over the din of combat. "Trying to boost the signal," she yelled back. "If I can amplify the terraforming effect, it might disrupt their systems." Suddenly, Melisara was at Sorensen's side, her cybernetic interface linking with the device. "Allow me," she purred, her fingers dancing across the controls. Before Liam could intervene, a blinding pulse of energy erupted from the Genesis device. The Praetorian warriors staggered, their advanced armor systems flickering and failing. In the momentary lull, Liam's comm came to life once more. "Axford, this is Morales. We're detecting massive energy signatures across the system. It's the Exodus fleet. They're coming online." Through gaps in the clouds, Liam caught glimpses of enormous ships entering the atmosphere, each one a city in space, filled with defenses and carrying thousands of civilians. As the Exodus fleet engaged the Praetorian forces, Liam turned to rally his team. But Melisara was gone, and so was Dr. Sorensen. "Damn it!" Liam cursed, scanning the battlefield. He spotted them at the edge of the clearing, Melisara dragging Sorensen towards a waiting shuttle. "Stop!" Liam shouted, sprinting after them, but a Praetorian energy blast forced him to dive for cover. As Melisara's shuttle lifted off, Liam's comm crackled once more. "Axford, report to the command ship immediately. We have a new mission for you." Liam watched helplessly as Melisara's ship disappeared into the chaotic skies above. Whatever the Archon's plans for the Genesis technology, he knew they spelled trouble for the entire galaxy. With a heavy heart, Liam gathered his remaining forces and made for the extraction point. The battle for this world was won, but the war was far from finished. And now, with Sorensen and the Genesis device in enemy hands, the stakes had never been higher. As Liam's shuttle ascended through the atmosphere, he caught sight of the full might of the Exodus fleet. Massive Orcs moved into strategic positions, their weapons keeping the Praetorian forces at bay. Admiral Morales' hologram flickered to life in the shuttle's cabin. "Axford, we're assembling a strike team. Your mission: infiltrate the Praetorian Singularity Forge and shut it down. We have intel suggesting Xionari collaborators who might assist. This could be our only chance to turn the tide." Liam nodded grimly. "Understood, sir. What about Dr. Sorensen and the Genesis device?" Morales' expression darkened. "We'll deal with Melisara's betrayal later. Right now, we need to focus on the Forge. Report to Commander Faust for briefing as soon as you dock." As the hologram faded, Liam's mind raced with the implications of their next move. The Singularity Forge, a name that sent chills down his spine. Whatever it was, he knew it held the key to either humanity's salvation or its ultimate downfall. The shuttle docked with the Vanguard command ship, and Liam stepped out into a whirlwind of activity. Crew members rushed to and fro, coordinating the massive fleet action taking place across the system. Commander James Faust stood waiting, his scarred face set in a grim expression. "Axford," he said with a nod, "we're prepping for immediate deployment. Our window of opportunity is closing fast." As they strode towards the briefing room, Liam caught sight of a familiar face. Vizier Azran, the Voidstalker diplomat. "Captain Axford," Azran called out, her form shimmering with ethereal energy. "A word before you embark on this fool's errand?" Liam hesitated, looking to Faust, who nodded reluctantly. "Make it quick," the commander growled. Azran's eyes bore into Liam's. The Singularity Forge is more than a weapon. It holds the key to the true power of Genesis, the ability to reshape entire worlds at will. The Praetorians must not be allowed to harness its full potential. Liam's mind reeled at the implications. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because," Azran replied, her form flickering, "there are those among us who believe this war has gone too far. Stop the Forge, and we may yet find a path to peace." As Azran's form dissipated, Liam turned back to Faust. The commander's eyes narrowed. "I hope you know what you're doing, trusting these aliens." "So do I," Liam muttered as they entered the briefing room. The hollow display flickered to life, showing the imposing structure of the Singularity Forge, a massive space station surrounded by a swarm of Praetorian warships. "Our intel suggests a weakness in their defenses here," Faust said, highlighting a section of the station. "A small team might be able to slip through and access the main control systems." As the commander outlined the plan, Liam's thoughts drifted to the enormity of their task. The fate of not just Earth, but the entire galaxy, rested on the success of this mission. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the ship. Admiral Morales' voice came over the intercom, tight with tension. "All hands, prepare for immediate jump. We've detected a massive Praetorian fleet on an intercept course." The deck lurched beneath their feet as the Vanguard fleet engaged its FTL drives. Through the viewports, space itself seemed to twist and bend. As they hurtled towards their destination in the final confrontation, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The pieces were falling into place too neatly, the intelligence too convenient. His suspicions were confirmed moments later when Colonel David Kane, his trusted second-in-command, entered the briefing room with a squad of armed soldiers. "I'm sorry, Liam," Kane said, his voice heavy with regret as he raised his weapon, "but I can't let you go through with this mission." In that instant, as weapons were trained on him and Faust, Liam realized the true depth of the conspiracy they faced. The battle for the Singularity Forge was about to begin, but the real war, the one for the soul of humanity, had been raging in secret all along. Liam's mind raced as he stared down the barrel of Kane's weapon. In a lightning-fast move, he ducked and rolled, narrowly avoiding a barrage of energy bolts that sizzled past his head. "Traitor!" Liam shouted, drawing his own sidearm and returning fire. The briefing room erupted into chaos as Faust and his loyal soldiers engaged Kane's renegades. Amidst the firefight, Liam caught glimpses of the battle unfolding outside. The Vanguard fleet clashed with Praetorian warships, energy beams crisscrossing the void of space. The massive form of the Singularity Forge loomed in the distance, its structure pulsing with otherworldly power. Liam vaulted over an overturned table, closing the distance to Kane. "Why?" he demanded, grappling with his former friend. Kane's eyes blazed with fervor. "You don't understand, Liam. The Forge is the key to everything." Their struggle intensified, and Liam felt a sharp pain as Kane's fist connected with his jaw. Stumbling back, he saw Kane reach for a device on his belt. "No!" Liam lunged forward, but it was too late. Kane pressed the detonator, and a series of explosions rocked the ship. Through the viewports, Liam watched in horror as the central spire of the Singularity Forge erupted in a chain of fiery blossoms. The structure's defenses flickered and failed. "All units, move in!" Admiral Morales' voice crackled over the comm. "This is our chance." Liam turned back to Kane, his weapon raised. "It's over, David." Kane smiled grimly. "It's only beginning." He lunged at Liam, a hidden blade flashing in his hand. Liam fired instinctively. The energy bolt caught Kane in the chest, sending him sprawling. As his former comrade gasped on the floor, Liam felt a pang of regret. "Axford," Faust called out, "we need to move, now!" Leaving the wounded Kane behind, Liam joined Faust and the remaining loyalists as they fought their way to the hangar bay. They boarded an assault shuttle, rocketing towards the damaged forge. As they approached, Liam saw Zenari ships engaging Praetorian defenders. The unlikely allies cleared a path for the human strike team. "Multiple contacts incoming," the pilot shouted. "It's Archon Melisara's forces." Liam gritted his teeth as he saw the Syndicate troops swarming from their ships, led by a familiar face. Marcus Kincaid, the treacherous CEO who had stolen the Genesis prototype. "Faust, take your team and get to the power nexus," Liam ordered. "We'll hold off Melisara's forces." The shuttle touched down amidst the chaos of battle. Liam's team deployed, immediately engaging the Syndicate troops. Energy weapons flashed, and the acrid smell of ozone filled the air. Through the melee, Liam caught sight of Dr. Sorensen, her face etched with perseverance as she worked feverishly on a console. The Genesis device hummed beside her, its energy intertwining with the Forge's systems. Suddenly, the entire structure shuddered. A deafening roar filled the air as space itself seemed to twist and tear. A massive rift yawned open at the heart of the Forge, pulsing with unknowable energies. "By the stars!" Liam breathed, momentarily transfixed by the cosmic spectacle. The distraction nearly cost him his life as a syndicate trooper materialized beside him. Liam reacted on instinct, dispatching his attacker with a swift combination of blows. As he turned back to the battle, Liam realized the true scale of what they faced. The Singularity Forge was more than a weapon. It was a gateway to reshape reality itself. With renewed drive, Liam charged forward. The fate of not just humanity, but all of creation, hung in the balance, and he would be damned if he'd let it fall into the wrong hands. The cosmic rift at the heart of the forge expanded, reality twisting and warping around its edges. From its depths, a presence emerged, vast, incomprehensible, and utterly alien. The demiurge coalesced into being, a living singularity born from the merged Genesis singularity matrix. Liam's jaw dropped as he witnessed the entity take form. All around him, the battle ground to a halt as combatants from every faction turned their attention to this new threat. "By the stars!" breathed Admiral Morales over the comm. "What have we unleashed?" The demiurge's awareness swept across the battlefield. Praetorian dreadnoughts, Zenari cruisers, and Vanguard destroyers alike opened fire, their most powerful weapons converging on the cosmic entity. Energy beams, plasma torpedoes, and antimatter warheads impacted the demiurge and dissipated harmlessly. The entity didn't even register the assault. With terrifying ease, the demiurge retaliated. Space itself seemed to fold and twist, entire fleets vanishing in the blink of an eye. Liam watched in horror as ships disintegrated into their component atoms, scattered across light years in an instant. On the Forge's command deck, Dr. Sorensen and her team frantically worked to regain control of the Genesis device. The demiurge's avatar, a towering construct of impossible geometries, materialized before them. Liam sprinted towards them, knowing he'd be too late. The avatar raised a limb, reality warping around it. In that moment, Liam made a choice. He activated his neural implants, interfacing directly with the Genesis Forge matrix. Information flooded his consciousness, threatening to overwhelm him. His body began to dissolve, transformed into pure data. As Liam's essence merged with the cosmic entity, he felt the demiurge recoil. His humanity, his emotions, his empathy, his capacity for choice, crashed against the entity's remorseless purpose like a tidal wave. Through the haze of his fading consciousness, Liam heard Admiral Morales' voice. "This is our last chance. All ships, engage the Valiant Protocol." The massive Vanguard Dreadnought surged forward, its engines pushed beyond their limits. As the ship accelerated towards the stunned demiurge, Liam felt a surge of gratitude for his comrade's sacrifice. The Valiant's impact was cataclysmic. A supernova erupted at the heart of the forge, momentarily blinding all sensors. When the energy dissipated, the demiurge remained, but it was shaken. Space twisted again. Liam, his consciousness still intertwined with the cosmic entity, felt the demiurge's cruel intentions. In an instant, the remaining allied ships found themselves teleported directly into the path of Archon Melisara's vengeful armada. Chaos erupted as former enemies became reluctant allies against this new, incomprehensible threat. Through it all, Liam struggled to maintain his sense of self within the vast, alien mind of the demiurge. He felt the entity's vast intellect turn inward, calculating probabilities and potential outcomes. And in that moment of distraction, Liam saw a glimmer of hope. Marcus Kincaid, bloodied but determined, dragged himself to the Genesis controls. His fingers danced across the interface, initiating a sequence Liam recognized from the entity's own knowledge, a full-scale terraforming protocol. As Kincaid channeled the raw power of creation, Liam felt the demiurge's attention snap back to the material world. The cosmic entity lashed out, but it was too late. Reality itself began to shift and reform. Newborn planets coalesced from stellar dust. Artificial suns ignited, bathing the battlefield in multicolored light. And through it all, the heroes of 100 worlds stood united against the cosmic terror. Liam's consciousness stretched to its breaking point as he witnessed the final confrontation unfold across dimensions, beyond human comprehension. The weakened demiurge manifested its most terrifying avatar yet, only to be met by the combined might of species pushed to the very limits of their potential. As the battle raged across the newly formed cosmic tapestry, Liam felt something stir within the demiurge, a flicker of doubt, a concept utterly foreign to the entity's nature. And in that moment, he knew their victory was at hand. The unified forces of the galaxy converged on the cosmic entity, their weapons and minds empowered by the raw stuff of creation itself. The demiurge's vast form began to unravel, its very essence scattering across the reborn universe. As the entity experienced its final moments, Liam felt a surge of something. Not quite emotion, but a dawning awareness. The demiurge, for the first and last time in its existence, understood the concept of an ending. And then, in a blinding flash of creation and destruction, it was gone. Liam's consciousness snapped back to his physical form, reformed from the cosmic energies swirling around him. He found himself standing on the surface of a newly formed world, its landscape still shifting and evolving before his eyes. Beside him stood Vizier Azran, her ethereal form radiating with newfound power. She turned to Liam, her eyes reflecting the birth of countless stars. "The cycle begins anew," she said, her voice echoing across the pristine world. "But this time, we write its story." Liam nodded, his mind still reeling from the cosmic experience. As he looked out over the landscape of infinite possibility, he knew their greatest challenge and their greatest adventure lay ahead.
You have reached the end of the story. If you enjoyed this story and want to support us, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel, and for every comment that says 88, I will heart every single one of them. Thank you for your time.